Thanks so much, Jeff. Buongiorno, everyone, and buongiorno actually from the beautiful Hotel San Pietro in Positano. I have to tell you, I have the most incredible view outside my terrace door here. So thanks for the incredible opportunity to chat with you all today and allowing me for sharing our passion and focusing on our 4 principal objectives: keeping the dream of Italy alive, never giving up, being flexible and staying positive has really got us through the last few months. Quick information and a little background. As Jeff mentioned, my name is Andrea, sole founder, CEO of IC Bellagio. We are based in Bellagio on Lake Como. That is the real one, of course, not the one in Las Vegas. And we were very happy to celebrate 20 years in business just last year. As you will note already, this is not a very Italian sounding accent. I'm actually from the UK originally, although I have had the fortune to live in Italy for almost 30 years. Our core business is FITs, working primarily with the US, Canadian, Australian, and New Zealand markets. Our team is made up of 39 incredible individuals. More than 90% of our team are women, including our 3 dogs. And 2019 was our best year ever for sales, and 2020 was, of course, looking even better. Mid-February, I had not long returned from the US, where I had presented at the Virtuoso Forum to their owners and managers the opportunities of overcrowding. Way back when, what feels like a lifetime ago now, that was a huge focus for us. How do we ensure that our travelers continue to enjoy a seamless travel experience despite the ever-increasing numbers, particularly in some of our cities and hotspots? COVID-19 at the time was slowly becoming part of our lives. However, in all honesty, we all believed that it was just something that was happening and that had been blocked in a small area south of Milan that was being dealt with, and that, of course, our travelers would not be affected. Fast forward to Saturday, the 7th of March, lockdown was announced, and Monday, the 9th of March was, of course, a day I think for us at IC Bellagio we'll never forget. Together with my very capable COO, we got our heads together, considered what was needed to move forward, and we created a task force of 11 men and women plus myself. Our task force immediately went into action with very clear objectives. First, we had to close our office and set ourselves up to work very quickly, successfully in smart working. We set up a daily huddle at 9 a.m. every day via Zoom, something that we do still today. We stayed informed on up-to-date with information and communication from all of our partners throughout Italy, and we continued to communicate this out using various social media platforms, emails, phone calls, and newsletters. We offered full, complete traveler and travel advisor assistance. Transparency for us was fundamental. Whether we were talking the good, the bad, or the ugly, our aim was to constantly keep people informed on how things were going and what we were truly living, seeing, breathing, hearing, and really maintain the travel advisor and traveler confidence and trust. We wanted to stay very, very close to our people on the ground throughout the country. We asked them to send us lots of photos, videos, and information constantly, as well as updates as to what was happening in their area. Of course, a big part of it as well was staying close to our external advisors. We had to ensure the health of our company and make sure that we were fully informed on any support that was available. And finally, we were able to offer full and complete assistance to our colleagues across the world. Being the first country to get hit after China, we were a few days and in some cases a few weeks ahead of many of our colleagues. And we were able to share our experiences and support them in facing what was to come. And in few words, giving them the opportunity to take inspiration from our wins and not repeat our mistakes. So often, I can tell you, we were asked so many difficult questions. Everybody was looking for certainty and everybody was looking for answers. So often, we were not able to give the answers that people needed. However, we kept up our very transparent responses and we kept up our continuity in our updates in this ever-changing environment and situation. As a leader, I felt that my role was not only to be responsible for my own personal well-being, mental and physical, but also that of our incredible task force. If I was asking them to be out there working to rebuild the confidence of our partners on the grounds and our travelers, I had to put them in a position to not only do it, but above all, feel it. To mention a few of the projects that we launched since March 2020. We increased hugely our social media presence to 3 posts per day. We dedicated them 100% to updates, showing exactly what was happening on the ground. And above all, we found something positive to communicate each and every day, despite the madness of everything that was going on around us. We hosted Instagram Live interviews with our partners throughout Italy 3 times a week. These were fun conversations that lasted maximum half an hour, speaking with hoteliers, guides, drivers, cooking class hosts, and many others. We loved touring Italy this way and seeing those bright smiles and just hearing how things were going in different corners of the country and how these people were making the most of the moment. I can tell you that we have a lot more gardeners right now in Italy than what we had back in March 2020. We hosted virtual aperitivi and coffee catch-ups with our travelers and our travel advisors. Again, this gave us the opportunity just to keep in touch, to touch base and look at people in the eye, even though it was, of course, via Zoom. We created 2 new projects, Italy Comes to You. This is based on gifting the experience of travel, but also giving our opportunity, giving the partners that we have throughout the country who actually produce, whether it's wine or truffles or any kind of product which is Italian, to give them the opportunity to actually send that home to our guests in their own homes, in their own countries. We also created a project called Influenced by IC Bellagio. As many communications that we did receive were telling us that it was quite likely that the younger traveler would be the first traveler to start traveling again. So Influenced by IC Bellagio was 100% dedicated to the younger or younger at heart traveler who has the same budget as our classical IC Bellagio traveler. However, they may choose to spend that quite differently. We also found that these were also the people who were looking to spend more time outdoors. They were also going to be much more adventurous as well. So a great deal of time was actually spent to developing product for them. We created podcast and Spotify playlists. We were constantly in touch with our journalists and giving interviews both to the press, also on TV as well, both Italian and international. One thing which surprised many, but in all honesty I think was hugely successful, we began to work very, very closely with our biggest competitor. There was nobody else on this planet who was in a better position to understand exactly what we were living and going through than our colleagues doing a similar job to ourselves. We set up regular calls, we exchanged WhatsApp messages, information, ideas, systems, processes, professional advice. We really helped each other 360 degrees. And once travel was possible here in Italy, we started to travel together as well. Not only to give those destinations double exposure, but it was also an amazing opportunity for us to spend time together, to exchange ideas, and once again, learn from each other as well. Myself and Virna, we became much more involved in WTTC. If we need to be fully informed to give our travelers and our travel advisors information, we also need to know what we're talking about. And in all honesty, who else better to give us that information and to enable us to be in a much stronger position to give facts and figures to people out there. We also began to travel domestically throughout Italy. I seriously believe that we cannot expect our travelers to start traveling again unless we do it first. And we did a lot of promotion and communication, showing ourselves traveling and really keeping the dream of Italy alive. We're not selling anything to anyone. We are quite simply showing you exactly all of these amazing things that we get to enjoy and what it means to travel on a train, what it means to go through an airport right now, exactly what the experience is all about. Very quickly, just to give you an idea what kind of government support we saw. Since the 9th of March, we furloughed 66% of our team. The furlough scheme was called Cassa Covid. And right now, the Cassa Covid has been extended until mid-November. This may or may not be extended further. However, if not, for IC Bellagio, due to our number of employees and our total yearly sales, we could then request a second furlough scheme called Cassa Ordinaria. And this is an Italian furlough scheme which lasts for 26 weeks. The furlough schemes in general have two ranges depending on salary, and they cover approximately 80% of the employee's base salary. The government also suspended the monthly tax contributions. Companies in the tourism sector were given the opportunity to request an Italian state guaranteed bank loan, which was dependent on it was a percentage of their 2019 sales. This loan needs to be repaid within 5 years. What we would love to see happen is first and foremost, the Italian government to recognise that the contribution of travel and tourism to GDP is 13% here, and that 14.9% of total employment in Italy is the travel and tourism sector. In fact, here in Italy, 1 in 4 net new jobs in the last 5 years were created in the travel and tourism sector. Not to mention that we did show an international visitor impact of 44.9 billion euro. By the way, these are all numbers which have been published by WTTC. We would love the government to create a non-refundable grant aid scheme to support the travel and tourism sector in general and businesses within the sector. We would like to see the extension of the furlough scheme Casa Covid for all travel and tourism businesses into 2021. And when business returns, we would love to see taxes or the payment of taxes suspended for a minimum of 3 years to enable our businesses to safely and comfortably get back on their feet. Just before I speak about our recovery plan and I end my presentation, I wanted to share our biggest learnings. First and foremost, we learned to listen to hear, not to respond. That was a big one, sounds obvious, but it's not always so. We learned that less is more. The importance of routine. We keep negative people away from us. We don't worry about things we can't control. We do accept that it's okay to have a wobble moment every now and then, and we do take time to reflect. Now, regarding our recovery plan, we're working on developing many new markets and wonderful new product. There's a lot of focus on culinary, on outdoor and adventure, and of course, lifestyle. And I can tell you that so much of what we actually programmed for our opportunities of overcrowding project, we can actually use, of course, post-COVID. We're working hard at developing new relationships and partnerships. I'm delighted to announce that we've just been named the exclusive DMC partner for Low Season Traveller, a company dedicated to exactly what it says on the box, low season travel. We are creating an exclusive villa collection and developing an IT platform to enable us to serve our villa guests better regarding the proposal of extra services. We are working hard with our account manager, Andrew, to strengthen our collaboration with WTTC. I believe it is fundamental for our growth as individuals and a collective. I strongly believe that we have to do the best you can possibly do and do the best possible job. And we really want to give back to the industry, which has given so much to us. We've created vouchers that we have given to travel advisors to gift to their 2020 domestic travelers, giving them the opportunity to use these vouchers for future travel to Italy in 2021 or beyond. We continue to be in constant contact with our travelers, our travel advisors, our friends and colleagues throughout the world and Italy itself. And we're finalizing our decluttering project to enable us to manage our travelers' experiences for 2021 and beyond in a much lighter way. In closing, a very quick but heartfelt thanks to the WTTC for all that you do each and every day for our industry. And I wish everyone on the call energy, positivity and strength, not to lose their passion, above all for travel and tourism and all that this provides. Thank you.